She said it like she was giving me permission to leave, but her eyes were watching to see if I actually would. I'm not ready. If you can't wait, marry someone else. I nodded like it didn't land, like it didn't rearrange something inside me. I love you, I said quietly, but I won't stay where I'm optional. My name is Ethan Caldwell. I live in Westport, Connecticut, the kind of town where people don't just build lives. They curate them. I met Olivia Bennett 3 years ago at a private fundraising gala her family hosted. Her last name carried weight. Not loud, not obvious. But permanent. The kind of name that opens doors you don't even realize were closed. She wasn't the loudest person in the room. She didn't need to be. People adjusted themselves around her without noticing they were doing it. And I noticed. I built my life differently. No inheritance, no legacy money. Just a consulting firm. I grew from nothing into something stable. Predictable. Controlled. Olivia was none of those things. She was careful in public. But in private, she moved like someone who was always deciding whether to stay or leave. And I stayed anyway. For 3 years, I stayed. Not because she asked me to, but because she never clearly didn't. That's the part people don't talk about. How ambiguity can feel like commitment if you want it badly enough. We never set a date. We never announced anything official. But we talked about the future like it was inevitable. Houses, travel, children, eventually. Just not now. Never now. Always later. And I let that word stretch longer than it should have. Until one night I stopped. It wasn't dramatic. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't even tension. We were sitting in her kitchen. She was scrolling through her phone, half listening, half somewhere else. I asked her a simple question. Where do you see this going? She didn't look up immediately. When she did, there was no fear in her eyes. No hesitation, just honesty. I'm not ready. She paused, then added the part that changed everything. If you can't wait, marry someone else. Not angry, not emotional, just neutral, like she was offering a logical solution. And that's when I realized something. She had already decided her timeline. I just wasn't part of the urgency. Before we go further, tell me honestly, if someone you love said that to you, would you stay and wait? Or would you hear what they're actually saying? I didn't answer her right away. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I knew whatever I said next would define everything after. I love you, I told her. And I meant it. There was no strategy behind it. No manipulation. Just truth. But I won't stay where I'm optional. She blinked. Not dramatically. Just enough to show it registered. You're not optional, she said. But it sounded like something she believed in theory, not something she felt in practice. I didn't argue. I didn't try to convince her. I didn't list everything we had. Because for the first time, I understood something clearly. If you have to explain your place in someone's life, you don't actually have one. So I left. Not immediately. Not in anger. But decisively. Over the next 2 weeks, I untangled my life from hers. Quietly. No scenes. No ultimatums. Just distance. She didn't chase me. That part hurt more than anything else. Not because I expected her to, but because some part of me hoped she would. A call. A message. Something that said I mattered enough to disrupt her certainty. But nothing came. And silence has a way of answering questions words never will. Months passed. I focused on work, routine, structure, the things I could control. And slowly something shifted, not dramatically, not overnight, but enough that her absence stopped feeling like a gap and started feeling like space. Then I met Claire Whitfield, not at a gala, not in a curated environment, but at a client meeting in Boston. She was direct, grounded, clear in a way that didn't require interpretation. When she said something, it didn't come with hidden conditions. And that felt unfamiliar at first, almost uncomfortable, because I'd gotten used to reading between lines that weren't there. We didn't rush. We didn't force anything. But there was one difference I noticed immediately. With Claire, I never had to ask where I stood. She made it obvious. Consistently. Without effort. And that consistency did something Olivia never did. It made me relax. A year later, we got engaged. Not after endless discussions. Not after uncertainty. But after a series of clear, mutual decisions. And for the first time, commitment didn't feel like something I had to earn. It felt like something we both chose. Together. Then one evening, Olivia called. I almost didn't pick up, but I did. Her voice sounded the same. Controlled. Measured. But there was something underneath it this time. Something less certain. I heard you're engaged, she said. I am. There was a pause. Long enough to feel. I made a mistake, she said quietly. Not dramatic. Not pleading. Just direct. I thought I had more time. I didn't respond immediately, because I understood what she meant. She thought I would stay in the space she left undefined. Indefinitely. Before we continue, what would you do here? If the person who once made you feel uncertain suddenly became certain about you, would that change how you see them? Or would it confirm what you already knew? I waited. I said finally. Longer than I should have. I know. I loved you. I know. And that's why I left. Silence. Not uncomfortable. Just real. I wasn't ready, she said. I know. I am now. That part almost made me smile. Not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. Readiness had nothing to do with time. It had everything to do with priority. And for the first time, I wasn't trying to convince myself otherwise. I'm happy for you, she added. And this time, it sounded genuine. Thank you. We didn't say much after that. There wasn't anything left to resolve. No loose ends. No unfinished sentences. Just two people who understood something too late to change it. After the call ended, I sat there for a while. Not thinking about her, but thinking about who I was when I was with her. The version of me that accepted uncertainty as a form of hope. The version of me that waited without being asked to. And the version of me that finally chose himself. Claire walked into the room later that night. She didn't ask who I was talking to. She didn't need to. Everything okay? She asked. Yeah. And for the first time in a long time, that answer didn't require explanation.